When you decide to embark on a journey or chase a goal, you have to commit fully or not start at all. Half-hearted efforts are a guaranteed way to create regret because they leave you stuck in a limbo where you neither succeed nor truly learn. Commitment isn't just about showing up. It's about pouring your energy, your focus, and your passion into what you're doing, even when the path gets uncomfortable or unpredictable. True commitment requires an agreement with yourself that no matter what obstacles arise, you will stay the course and push through. It's easy to get excited at the beginning when everything feels fresh and motivating, but the real test comes when the excitement fades and you're left facing the grind. That's where most people falter, not because they aren't capable, but because they never made the decision to fully commit from the start. You can't rewrite your story if you're still tied to doubts about whether you belong in the new chapter you're trying to create. Your actions must be louder than your fears. The moment you hold back even a small part of yourself, you plant seeds of failure. Doubt grows in spaces where commitment is absent. When you dive in fully, you leave no room for second guessing because you've already decided you will either succeed or learn, but never quit. Your past mistakes or false starts don't define this new path unless you let them. Committing fully is how you break free from the old narratives you once lived by. It's how you stop treating adversity as an excuse to turn back and start treating it as a stepping stone to strength. Challenges become tests of your commitment rather than reasons to quit. And with each test you pass, you build resilience you didn't know you had. There is a misconception that timing needs to be perfect or that circumstances have to align before we can fully commit. Waiting for perfect conditions is a trap. It's never too late or too early to begin again with everything you've got. Reinvention happens not when the stars align, but when you decide you are tired of holding back pieces of yourself. Every day offers a new chance to commit more fiercely than the day before, and each day you delay chips away at the fire that could have been burning inside you. Responsibility is the hidden key in this process. If you commit fully, you take responsibility for every action, every mistake, and every success along the way. You stop blaming circumstances and start carving your own way forward, owning every piece of your journey with pride, no matter how messy it gets. Momentum is everything once you commit. It's not about dramatic leaps every day. It's about constant movement, steady pressure, and relentless forward energy. Even small steps taken with full heart and real commitment can move mountains over time. In the end, success doesn't come from perfect starts or flawless execution. It comes from deciding to burn the bridge behind you and march forward with no backup plan, trusting that even if you fall, you'll rise stronger. Commit fully or don't start at all, because the version of you that keeps moving forward is the one who wins. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the doorway to it. Every mistake, every setback, every disappointment is a chance to learn something that success alone could never teach you. If you run from failure or let it break you, you rob yourself of the strength it was trying to build within you. You have to understand that failure is not a dead end, but a detour, redirecting you to a better, stronger version of yourself. When you fall, it's not a signal to quit. It's an invitation to rise differently, more aware and more determined than before. The ones who succeed in life are not the ones who never failed, but the ones who refuse to let failure define them. They collected every fall, every misstep, and every heartbreak like tools, building a foundation strong enough to carry them forward. You have to stop seeing failure as a reflection of your worth and start seeing it as proof that you are daring enough to try. Growth lives in those uncomfortable spaces where things didn't go as planned. It's where your character is forged and your resilience is born. If everything was easy, you'd never develop the grit needed for bigger victories. Success without struggle is hollow, and strength without challenge is an illusion. So when you stumble, you don't lose. You gather information, you adjust your strategy, and you come back wiser. Every failure carries a lesson, but only if you are willing to face it head on without shame or fear. The bravest thing you can do is not to avoid failure, but to stare it in the face and say, "What are you here to teach me?" The world doesn't remember those who played it safe and stayed comfortable. It remembers those who risked failure for the sake of growth and refused to be paralyzed by fear. The moment you decide that you are willing to fail in order to move forward, you unlock a level of power within you that most people never touch. You stop playing to protect yourself and start playing to win. And even if the next step after a failure is shaky, it's still progress. You are still moving forward, still shaping your future, still building the strength you will one day look back on with pride. There is no clean path to success. It's messy, it's painful, and it's unpredictable. But that's what makes it real. If you let failure humble you, teach you, and strengthen you, it becomes one of your greatest allies. Stop treating failure like an enemy. Start treating it like a mentor. Because in the end, every scar will tell the story of a battle you refused to lose. Every wound will mark the places you grew beyond what you once thought possible. Embrace failure, honor it, and use it. Because the version of you who dares to fail is the one who will one day succeed beyond anything you ever imagined. The greatest limits you will ever face are the ones you place on yourself. Most of the time, it's not the world holding you back. It's your own fear, your doubts, your hesitation. You think of all the reasons why something might not work instead of focusing on the one reason it could. You tell yourself stories about your capabilities based on past failures or the opinions of others, and without even realizing it, you build walls around your own potential. These walls are not real, but they feel real because you've lived inside them for so long. You say, "I can't," before you even try, and in doing so, you shut the door on countless possibilities. It's not about whether you are capable, it's about whether you believe you are. Self-imposed limits are the heaviest chains because you hold the key and often don't even know it. The truth is, most barriers exist only in the mind. You fear judgment, so you don't speak up. You fear failure, so you don't start. You fear change, so you stay where you are, convincing yourself that it's safer. But safety and growth rarely live in the same place. Every great achievement was once just an idea someone dared to believe in despite their fears. They broke their own limits first before they broke any records. It's not about being fearless. It's about acting in spite of fear. Pushing past the hesitation and proving to yourself that you are bigger than the doubts that try to shrink you. When you understand that the only real limits are the ones you accept, everything changes. You realize you don't have to wait for permission or the perfect moment. You realize that the obstacles outside you are far less powerful than the ones inside you, and once you begin to tear down those inner walls, the external ones start to crumble too. It's a process, and it takes courage, but every step you take beyond your own limits brings you closer to the person you were always meant to be. You are not made to live small. You are made to stretch, to reach, to break through. The life you dream about isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to believe you are capable right now with everything you already have inside you. Set yourself free. Growth is never something that happens inside your comfort zone. It's easy to stay where everything feels familiar, where risks are minimal and challenges are few, but nothing extraordinary is born from ease. Comfort may feel good temporarily, but it quietly robs you of the incredible version of yourself that you have the potential to become. Real growth begins the moment you step into the unknown, the moment you willingly leave behind what is easy for what is necessary. It happens when you say yes to the challenges that scare you, to the opportunities that seem bigger than you, to the moments that test your patience, strength, and belief in yourself. Each time you lean into discomfort instead of running from it, you stretch your limits, expand your capabilities, and discover new layers of your own resilience. The reality is that staying comfortable often means staying stagnant. You might not be falling backward, but you're also not moving forward. Dreams don't live in comfort, they live beyond it. In the spaces where your heart races and your hands shake and you wonder if you're really capable of more, you are. But you'll never truly know until you put yourself to the test. Every successful person you admire has been through seasons of deep discomfort. They faced failures, rejections, uncertainties, and yet they kept moving because they understood that discomfort was not a sign to retreat, but a sign that they were growing. They didn't wait to feel ready. They stepped forward when they felt uncertain because they knew that courage comes from doing, not waiting. There's a point where you realize that avoiding discomfort is actually far more painful in the long run than facing it head on. Because avoiding it means sacrificing your dreams, your potential, your truest self. The fear of failure, rejection, or judgment only has as much power as you give it. And once you begin to embrace discomfort instead of fearing it, you realize it's not the enemy, It's the guide. It's showing you exactly where your next breakthrough lies. It's pointing you toward the areas where you can grow the most, where you can rise beyond who you are now and step into who you're meant to be. When you commit to facing discomfort regularly, it changes you at a core level. You start to trust yourself more deeply because you see firsthand what you're capable of overcoming. You become more resilient, more adaptable, and far more powerful. The things that once intimidated you start to seem small compared to the new challenges you're willing to take on. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It's a choice you make daily to lean into the hard, to stretch your limits, and to refuse to settle for anything less than your full potential. So when discomfort comes knocking, don't turn away. Open the door wide and walk through it, knowing that on the other side is a version of yourself you've never met but have always been meant to become. Success is not reserved for the lucky few or those born into perfect circumstances. It's earned through consistent and deliberate daily choices. Every action you take, no matter how small it may seem, is either moving you closer to your dreams or pulling you further away from them. It's easy to think that big wins come from sudden breakthroughs or massive efforts all at once, but the truth is far simpler and far more demanding. Success is built in the quiet, often unseen moments when you decide to stay disciplined, focused, and true to your path even when no one is watching. It's waking up early to put in the extra work, choosing to stay committed when distractions are tempting, and holding yourself accountable when it would be easier to blame others or make excuses. Each day presents countless opportunities to choose between comfort and commitment. Will you choose to study a little longer, to practice your craft a little harder, to push yourself a little further? Or will you choose to procrastinate, to settle for good enough, to let fear and doubt dictate your actions? These small choices stack up over time, becoming the foundation on which your success is built, or the cracks through which it crumbles. Greatness doesn't come from one grand gesture, but from thousands of small intentional decisions that are aligned with your goals. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about being intentional enough to keep choosing your dreams, especially when it's inconvenient or difficult. The people who seem to achieve the impossible are not necessarily more talented or lucky. They are just relentless in making choices that align with their vision. They understand that habits create destiny. If you consistently choose growth, discipline, and persistence, you are inevitably shaping a future that reflects those values. On the other hand, if you consistently choose excuses, shortcuts, and comfort, that future will reflect those choices too. It's empowering and humbling to realize that you have so much control over where you end up simply by mastering your daily decisions. Choosing the right actions daily demands a level of self-respect and self-awareness that not everyone is willing to cultivate. It requires you to believe that your dreams are worth fighting for and that you are capable of doing hard things. It means prioritizing long-term rewards over short-term pleasures. It means trusting that even when progress is invisible, your efforts are compounding, building strength, resilience, and momentum beneath the surface. Success doesn't announce itself at first. It quietly builds until one day it becomes undeniable. In the end, every single choice you make is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Success isn't found in some distant future. It's found in the choice you make today and tomorrow and the next day after that. Choose wisely because your future is being written one decision at a time. The journey to success is deeply personal and cannot be perfectly copied from anyone else's path. It's natural to look at those who have achieved great things and feel tempted to replicate every step they took, thinking it will guarantee the same outcome. But the truth is, your path must be authentically yours, shaped by your own strengths, passions, failures, and lessons. What worked for someone else worked because it matched who they are, the circumstances they faced, and the timing of their journey. Trying to walk someone else's path exactly can leave you disconnected from your own gifts and intuition, and can even cause you to miss the opportunities meant specifically for you. Success is not a formula to be memorized and applied universally. It's a discovery process that requires you to stay deeply connected to yourself. You can absolutely learn from others, take inspiration, absorb strategies, and avoid common pitfalls. But ultimately, you have to be brave enough to carve out a path that feels true to who you are. That means listening to your instincts, honoring your own pace, and adjusting course when necessary. It means allowing your failures to teach you rather than trying to hide them, and letting your passions guide you even when logic or tradition says otherwise. Your journey will likely be messy, unpredictable, and filled with moments of doubt, but that is where real growth happens. The most successful people are not those who had perfect plans, but those who were willing to trust themselves even when the path was unclear. They understood that success demands a willingness to step into the unknown, to take risks based on your own vision rather than someone else's roadmap. If you spend too much time trying to follow another person's footsteps, you might climb the wrong mountain, one that was never meant for you. True fulfillment and true greatness come from chasing a dream that is uniquely yours, even if it feels uncertain or lonely at times. The beauty of creating your own path is that it builds an inner strength and confidence that no one can take away from you. Every challenge you overcome and every milestone you reach becomes a testament to your resilience and authenticity. And when you finally achieve the success you've been working toward, it will be deeply satisfying because it will be a reflection of your own courage, creativity, and perseverance. You won't feel like an imposter or like you merely followed someone else's script. You'll know you earned it by staying true to yourself every step of the way. Success is not just about reaching a destination, but about becoming the person capable of living your dreams. Your journey is meant to be different, and that's where your greatest power lies. Trust it, own it, and walk it boldly, because the world needs the version of success that only you can create. As we come to the end of this journey together, remember that success is not about shortcuts, comparisons, or following someone else's path. It is about embracing the beautiful, sometimes challenging, but ultimately rewarding journey that is uniquely yours. Trust yourself, stay committed to your vision, and never be afraid to walk the road less traveled, because that is where your true greatness lies. Thank you for being a part of this moment, for believing in your dreams, and for having the courage to chase them. I wish you all the strength, wisdom, and passion you need to turn your dreams into reality. Good luck on your incredible journey ahead. And thank you once again, and subscribe for more.